I'm making this video so that those that might want to put Open Media Vault on an Atomic Pi doesn't run into the same problems I did, that they can go from 4 days probably down to 4 hours to get this. This is what I started out with. I had an Atomic Pi, powered USB hub, CRT screen, keyboard, and mouse. I had a desktop and a laptop. The laptop runs Linux. Desktop runs Windows 7. I had a USB flash drive that I used to download or burn the ISOs that I was using onto the flash drive, ran it over to the Atomic Pi, and uploaded that. So, next, this is what should happen. You start with your Atomic Pi, you download Debian with the non-free drivers, you burn the USB drive, put in the Atomic Pi USB hub and boot from the USB stick, go through the various and sundry instructions to get the Debian onto the Atomic Pi eMMC storage. Set the MAC random address to no so you can get wireless. Follow the install OMV5 on Debian 10 instructions and run OMV. This is what I did. I downloaded the OMV5 ISO, installed it on the Atomic Pi. Didn't work. Fact is, it would only boot into BIOS. So I downloaded Ubuntu ISO and burned it on a USB stick, installed it on the Atomic Pi, had problems with power, random glitches, etc. Tried other digital Atomic Pi ISO images, found that the wireless only seems to work on Ubuntu, fought that. After 2 days, changed the power supply. Try OMV over Debian, wireless doesn't work. Fix that, have both wireless and Ethernet running, fight that. Use OMV First Aid to fix the wireless and Ethernet. And then 4 days after I started, I have a OMV NAS. Pretty rough. So, this is when I first started. I saw this and it didn't make much sense to me, which is why I burnt the OMV onto the flash drive and then tried to boot from that. This guy says essentially you could not get OMV ISO for the on a USB key to work. So what he had to do is create a USB key with the Debian. He says network install. That might work if I had known to put the MAC random to no. But anyway, I went with the DVD install. Install it to MMC. He selected SSH and utils is the only thing. I also added one of the desktop environments. Follow the Debian 9 instructions, and once OMV was up, he went to the browser and the admin, attached a drive, bought up the drive, disk menus, wiped the drive, etc. And I'm thinking to myself, what's he talking about? So, what he is talking about, or what I did, is I got the 10.1.0 non-free ISO. Then how do you install OMV5 on Debian? Once you get Debian on, then this is what you install OMV5 on Debian 10 Buster. And this is how you do it. You follow this, then you follow this, And the way you follow that is you go to Techno.life, Open Media Vault, 1 disk install using Debian. And at about 5:05, he tells you how to actually go through and do these things. Once that's done, you're pretty much running OMV. Let's talk hardware. I got the AtomicPi with the large breakout board. It looks like they've changed the large breakout board just a little bit. And then I also got just the CPU board. And one of the problems was this CPU board used to work. When I hooked it up, it didn't work, and then it kind of worked, and then it didn't work, which also helped to add to the confusion factor. In addition, I decided that a 5-volt 10-amp power supply ought to be just a wonderful thing to have. So I bought this, and that's what I was using for 2 days before I got smart enough to change to this one. And this one seems to work a whole lot better, although I still had a couple glitches when I was moving it from the upstairs, which is where it was at with the wireless, down to downstairs where I plugged it into the Ethernet. And that is the things you need to be sure of, is that you have a decent power supply of at least 3 amps, or so they say. Now let's talk about how to fix the software up so that you can use the wireless and the wired connections. When I first started out, because I was using wireless, I couldn't get it to run. I knew that the Debian 10 was able to connect to it, because that's what happened when it was doing its install. Finally ran across this. Essentially, you have to set up the thing so it doesn't get random MAC addresses. And that's all you have to do, and then restart it and restart the or you'll be able to connect to a Wi-Fi network. I used NMCLI. You can look that up. And then for the wired connection, what you need to do is add or run this command. And then this tells you how to find a network card driver name and version on Linux. And just so you know, Debian no longer uses the old ETH0 WLAN 0. It's got new names. In my case, the wireless was real long, and the wired was like ENP1S0. If you use wireless to connect and get OMV running and then hook it up, you'll have both wireless and Ethernet running. And this is how you can fix that. You go to OMV First Aid and you choose Configure Network Interface, and that will give you kill the wireless and run the Ethernet.